Hi, it's Michelle Ockers. It's the 25th of September 2015, and today I attended the Disrupt Sydney conference held by the University of Sydney School of Business. I'd like to share a couple of examples that were given today about how digital transformation is being used as a force for good in our society. Among the short talks that were given about examples of how digital is being used as a force for good in the world, there were two that really stood out to me this morning. And the first came from a young gentleman by the name of Barney Tan, who spoke about the social implications of e-commerce for rural China. And he talked about, and I may get the pronunciation wrong, Taobao, Taobao villages in China, which is a village where, or a community where at least 10% of the population is engaged in online retailing. And he gave several examples where within regions they'd specialised in certain types of products, be it woven baskets made out of corn husks or performance costumes, photography and movie props, camping and outdoor equipment and car accessories, imitation flat pack furniture. So regions kind of specialise in different products and have gone into online retailing, and these are rural communities. And what's been really interesting out of his case study for me was the social impact of communities getting online, working more collectively to either self-help or to get some form of local government support to build their online presence. And what that's done for them, obviously it's increased their standard of living, not only as individuals but as whole communities. So it's built infrastructure and basic services, giving them access to a greater range of services and products. But one of the things that really stood out was that it's actually strengthened family ties within the villages and created employment opportunities, which mean that the youth are more likely to stay in the village. And that certainly wasn't an aspect that I had considered before. Barney did also pose the question that there could well be some negative consequences of e-commerce in rural China. So, for instance, that people were less interested in some of the more traditional jobs such as teaching and vital jobs to those communities because there was more money to be made in digital. The other example that really captured my attention is virtual reality and the use of virtual reality to address health problems. Albert Skip Rizzo from the University of Southern California Institute for Creative Technologies spoke about some of the work that they've been doing there with combining a range of technologies to creating some sort of simulation that people can interact with, which was how he defined virtual reality, and the use of it to build either psychological, cognitive or motor functionality in people who, for some reason, have impairments of some sorts. And this kind of use of the technology started in 1994 for simple phobias and anxiety disorders, but now it's being used for a wide range of health issues, including addiction, ADHD, cerebral palsy, phantom limb, and the area that he spoke about most was post-traumatic stress disorder, and in particular in the military and some of the applications there. So one of the examples he gave was with the guidance of a clinician, so in a supportive, safe clinical environment, the use of simulated environments where the individual who had experienced traumatic experiences could be exposed to that traumatic experience, confront it and process it, and that there's a lot of data they've gathered which shows that that is far more effective than just working with the imagination, and that they're getting really good results out of that. The second application he spoke about, which captured my attention, was something called Sim Coach, which is using virtual humans, so a digitized person, character, who could act as an intelligent healthcare support agent, if you like. So to overcome, for instance, the stigma of a person who's suffering mental health trauma or issues going to see a real person, providing some level of coaching and support via an online virtual person, which seemed like a really powerful use of the technology. And the other example using virtual humans was providing virtual patients for medical students to practice with. And it kind of made me think about my military days where we used simulation to train pilots. So before they could do too much damage to real aircraft, to get them to learn how to fly in a simulated environment. And I guess in a similar way, for the medical students to practice interacting with diagnosing simulated patients rather than real patients. So two great examples of how digital technologies are being used for good.